Good evening. Are we ready to begin? It's a beautiful evening today. I'm going to start with the Education Committee meeting. A call to order. The time is 6:02 p.m. First, we'd like to review the approval of the minutes. Does anyone on the committee have any questions or additions? Okay, tonight we do have present myself on this committee, Steve Wilson, Elgin Bailey, and we do have absent Shauna. So if there's no objections to the approval of the minutes, we'll move that forward to the full board. Thank you. Then we have a presentation by the Coatesville Community Education Foundation. Hi, thank you.
And all I do is treat it like I do on my own computer.
Yep. Do you want this brought up a little bit?
Yeah.
Is that good? Just make sure you tell me the mic because they're very directional.
Oh, okay. Good evening. I'm Regina Lewis. I am president of the Coatesville Community Education Foundation. The CCEF, as I call it, was established as a 501c3 nonprofit organization made up of community volunteers and CASD, or the district's personnel. I realize that most of you have likely been kept abreast of our existence and possibly our extended progress, but we did want to formally introduce ourselves as we unveil our website landing page and upcoming press release. We underwent an extensive strategic planning process using as our foundation the district's comprehensive plan. And guided by a professional facilitator, we adopted 6 basic goals as listed on our website. Let's see if I can do this. Yep, there they are. And they are to foster partnerships that advance the mission, engage alumni of the Coatesville Area School District, share positive stories of individuals and district achievements, develop public school advocates throughout the community, cultivate an innovative, equitable, and state-of-the-art learning environment, develop a strong donor base to raise funds and pool resources for the good of the district constituents. In addition to 4 officers, myself as president, Mark Mincer as vice president, Chuck Linderman as secretary, and Lori Diefenderfer, did I get that right? Close enough? She is our treasurer. We currently have 16 other volunteers on our board. Over the next week or so, we will publicly announce our 2024 Scholarship Award recipients. Scholarships were awarded to 2 cash students. In the future, we will be happy to periodically come back to the school board to report on our progress and solicit your support as we conduct our work. It is our hope that the school board will view our efforts in a positive light and support the work of the foundation. We built our work plan and actions up to now on the district's comprehensive plan, and therefore, our effort is to be aligned with the district. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have and or share any other information that is of interest to you this evening. Our website is being tested at this time, So it is not complete. We are going to add content to it, including a list of our board members and committees and that sort of thing. So are there any questions? We just wanted to introduce ourselves to you because we did not want to release a press release and not tell you we were about to do that.
Thank you so much for coming.
No problem.
I just was trying to Google to look up the information, and it keeps bringing me to somebody else's site. Can you tell me
Yes.
about that?
I am aware of that, yes.
Yeah.
There is an organization, Coatesville Community Education Foundation, that does exist, and I'm quite aware of it. My husband here, Harry Lewis, actually received an award from them back in 2012, so I'm very much aware of it. Unfortunately, the board before I was on, before Harry was on, made a decision to use that name. However, we are registered with the state of Pennsylvania as a 501c3 nonprofit. We are a tax-exempt organization. Unfortunately, the other is not. So we've gone round and round about that, but I will say we've had meetings with, I believe it's Mr. Bob Connect. We've had meetings with him. They've been very cordial. He's understood our position, and we are working that out now. Yes. But when you go to our website, you'll want to look for the black and red logo. And that would be us. Okay? So we're going to get that clarified. Also, our donate page is our link for donations is not active yet. We will have that active within the next few weeks. Any other questions?
No, thank you so much.
Thank
Anyone
you.
else?
Appreciate it. I'll let you turn this off.
Okay, since we have a full agenda again in Education Committee, I'll roll on. All right. So the first item we have, I just want to make sure I'm going in the right order because it changed a little bit. Is item number A, or letter A, I should say, the 2024 ESY enrollment contract for the Camp Hill School. I don't have anything to add about that. Does anyone on the committee have anything to add or questions or concerns? Seeing none, anyone on the board? No? Okay, then we'll move that ahead to, that one goes to the regular school board meeting at the end of the month. And then the next is the Timothy School District school year contracts as well. I also don't have anything to add for the committee. Does anyone on the committee have anything to add?
No.
No? Okay. Being none, anyone on the board? Perfect. That one also moves, I believe, to the end of month board, full board vote. The General Healthcare Resources Addendum to the Staffing Agreement. Let me make sure. Okay, does anyone on the committee have any questions about this item? No? Does anyone on the full board have any questions about this item? Okay, so we agree to move this on. I apologize. If everyone agrees on the committee, say yes.
Yes.
Yes, sorry. I'm trying to whiz through this, aren't I? D, the letter of agreement with Devereaux, what was that letter before? Okay. That the school, Board of School Directors approved the letter of agreement that Devereaux agrees to provide student assistance liaison services for the 2024-25 school year. So is this a renewal of an existing service?
Correct.
Okay. I don't have anything else. Any other questions? Does anyone else on the committee? No? Anyone on the full board?
I just have a quick question. I'm looking at the letter of agreement right now. And it's listing, after North Brandywine Middle School, it's listing Scott 6th grade center. Should that be changed to Scott Middle School since it's going to be 6th and 7th grade?
Yes,
Okay,
we can change that.
okay.
So with that edit, it then can be moved. Does anyone on the board, anyone else on the board? No? Okay, so if you agree on the committee to move this forward, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. All right. E, the 2024-2025 RSY contract, Devereaux Advanced Behavioral Health. Again, this is the Board of School Directors approve the RSY contract as presented. And does anyone on the committee have questions or comments about this one? No? Anyone on the full board?
Sorry, I hate to be a stickler for, that kind of stuff, but it needs to be changed on this, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So with that edit, does the committee agree to move this forward? If so, say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And that one moves also to the end of the month. Perfect. And then F is Navigate 360 LLC contract renewal. That the school board of directors approve the contract renewal between Coatesville Area School District and Navigate 360 LLC. Does anyone on our committee have any questions about that?
Nope.
Nope. Fantastic. Does anyone on the full board have questions or comments? Seeing none, if the committee agrees to move this forward, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes, and this will go to tonight's special meeting agenda. Look at me. G is it Savas Envision Math, the Spanish edition? Recommended action that the Board of School Directors approve the Spanish textbooks for grades K to 8 as presented. And I wanted to just clarify, is this something we've always done? I love it, but,
This is our first time using it within the elementary. This is our first year
okay.
going through it, and the middle school, this is their second year, so we thought it important that we have these books for all of our students.
Okay, thank you very much. So with that, does anyone else on the committee have any questions or comments? No? Anyone on the full board? Seeing none, if the committee members agree to move this forward to tonight's special meeting, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Then we have letter H, which is the 806 Technologies Incorporated Title I crate. And recommended action, the Board of School Directors approve the proposal quote from 806 Technologies for Title I crate as presented. And I have to admit that I did a little research, but I'm not exactly sure what that is. Could someone give us a little education, Tony? Dr. Rubarczyk.
Good evening. So the quote for 806 Title I crate is basically an electronic database for all the requirements and compliance documents that that are used within Title I. This is a system that makes it a lot easier in keeping sure that you've checked off all your compliance components, but as well as memorializing all the documents, all your family engagement policies, all the communications that go home to families, as well as the compacts of which students are participating. So when you do get monitored, which we will be monitored again this year, you literally hand over the file into the monitoring tool. So everything's there and you know that you're in compliance of all the requirements that are of the district for Title I funding.
Okay, thank you very much.
And just to add, it is taken out of Title I funding itself. It's
Yes.
part of our federal dollars.
I saw that note. Thank you so much. Does anyone else on the committee have questions about that? No? Does anyone on the full board have questions or comments? Seeing none, if the committee agrees to move this forward to tonight's special meeting, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. I, Voyager Sopris Learning, Acadian CLO Math, K-6 licenses, which is ESSERS funded. Recommended action that the Board of School Directors approve the ALO Math K-6 digital licenses and manual entry licenses for 24-25 school year as presented. Does anyone have any questions about this here on the committee? No? Anyone on the full board?
I just
Please.
wanted to clarify, the ESSERS funding, is this something that we already spent? Or do we have a period during which we can still spend the ESSERS money?
We are spending it through the end of September, but yes, this was something that was already on the list.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. If no other comments, if you are on the committee and you agree to move this forward to tonight's special board meeting, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, then we're off to K. Addendum A1, 2024-25 school year student enrollment. That the Board of School Directors approve the Addendum A1 as a supplement to the 24-25 school year enrollment agreement with Valley Forge Educational Services for a specific student. I'm sorry, did you have, I skipped J? Oh, no. All right, I'll go right back to J. Might as well finish up K first, since I already read it. And I don't have any additional comments about K, so is there anyone else in the committee that does? No? Anyone on the full board? Yes, Steve? Oh, no, you just have your light on. All right, then if you agree to move this forward, I think this one goes to the end of the month board meeting, not to tonight. Okay. And then we'll move that forward. Please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Let me go back to J. So J is Dignity Consulting, second addendum for Dignity Consulting that's doing training here this year. And so this was an additional need to help them, to give them the authority to do some surveys about culture and climate, correct? Okay,
Correct. And
Okay.
belonging, how they feel as employees of the district.
perfect, thank you. All right, and so with this additional work, it's recommended that the Board of School Directors approve the Dignity Consulting second addendum for professional learning and organizational development as proposed. And again, we're using ESSERS funds as well for this. So does anyone on the committee have questions or concerns about that? No? Anyone on the board? No? Then the committee members, if you agree to move this forward, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes, and that will go to tonight's special board meeting. Now I can jump to L. Okay, next is L, which is the IXL Rosetta Stone upgrade quote, which is also ESSERS funded. And that is recommended action. The Board of School Directors approve the Rosetta Stone upgrade quote as presented. Is there anyone on the committee that has questions about this program?
Could we just hear a quick snapshot on this one? Age, implementation.
Kathy or Dr. Rubarczyk?
Dr. Robarczyk, can you come and share a little bit about this program? The Rosetta Stone upgrade?
So this is the program that we already have in place for the use of MTSS and during wind time for math and ELA in the regular classroom. This Rosetta Stone piece is for the EL, our English language learner students. And that's why it's an upgrade, because an update because we're ready to renew that license for them.
Are they like normal use every day or just as needed? Like what's the utilization?
It's a mix. It depends on, the teacher's preference, but it is a mediation. So if the teacher's working with one group of students, another group of students can be working with the IXL Rosetta Stone piece.
Thank you.
Okay?
Does anyone else on the committee have questions? Anyone on the full board have questions? No? Okay, so since there's no objections on the committee, please say yes if you agree to move this forward.
Yes.
Yes, and that also goes to the special meeting this evening. Then we have the letter M, IXL Learning Professional Learning Services quote, that the Board of School Board Directors approve the professional development IXL Power Up PD package as presented, which is also under ESSERS funding. And does anyone on the committee have questions about that one? No? Anyone on the board? Seeing none, if you agree to move this forward on the committee, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. And I think that goes to tonight as well. Thank you. I might have not been able to mark the rest, so I'll rely on Lori. Okay, N is K-12 English Learner Programming Audit, also ESSER funded, and that recommended that the School Board Directors approve the Chester County Intermediate Unit to conduct district programming audit of the district K-12 English Learner Program. And the total amount for the service is not to exceed $55,400. And this is just an audit to see how our program's going, see what our program may need, and make recommendations on improvements. Okay. Does anyone else on the committee have any questions? No? Anyone on the full board have questions? Fantastic. If then everyone agrees on the committee, please say yes to move it forward.
Yes.
Yes. And that will go to the special meeting this evening. And I think I've made it to Instructure Canvas subscription. Recommended that the school directors approve the purchase of the Canvas MLS Cloud subscription, 24/7 Tier 1 support and training portal premium for the 24-25 school year as presented. And I do have a question as to what this will give us extra, like what additional functionality.
Correct me if I'm wrong, I believe this is a subscription update for our learning management system. So teachers typically put on there what they did during the day so students can access their homework in the evening, or if they miss school, they're able to access that work at home.
Is that new or just a okay,
No,
gotcha.
that's been around since 2020.
I apologize, thank you. Okay, does anyone else on the committee have questions? No?
Nope.
Anyone on the full board? Fantastic. Then if you agree to move this forward, committee members, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. O moves to, I'm going to guess tonight. No? End of the month, darn it, I was wrong. All right, and then we have P, the Follett Destiny Solution Agreement Correction, which is ESSER's funded. This is the correct quote from Follett, and I guess we won't be going forward with the approved quote that was presented on 7/23 in 2024. What was the biggest issue, or was it just a correction? Price?
So Follett had provided us two different quotes. One was for an inventory management system, and the other was for the card catalog system. The equipment inventory management system was put onto the agenda by accident. It should have been the card catalog. This is to get our libraries, as I explained before, up and running and to update our libraries and what books we have in them at this time and get them into the system.
So the functionality remains the same, it was just the wrong quote?
It was just the wrong, it was, they looked very identical, that was the problem, and there was one change of a word for inventory management compared to card management, so.
Great, thank you for catching that and bringing this forward. Does anyone else on the committee have questions or concerns? No? Okay, is there anyone else on the full board who'd like to comment? Fantastic. Then, committee members, to move this forward, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. And that will move to special meeting this evening. Q, the sale of books to book buyer Scott Quinn, Everyday Math Student Journals, and book donation Keystone Book Rescue. Recommended that we approve the sale of books, the lot price of $300 for Everyday Math Student Journals, and the donation to Keystone Book Rescue for 2,774 secondary math textbooks. That includes all these books listed. I'm not going to read through them all. Does anyone on the committee have any questions or concerns? No. No? Okay. Does anyone on the full board want to make any comments or have questions or concerns? Fantastic. Then, committee members, if you agree, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. And that goes to this evening's special meeting. R. Whoop, did I skip a letter? No. recommended that the Board of School Directors approve the purchase of the Unlocking the Keystone exam for biology and algebra as presented. The total of these resources will be $16,929. And are these test prep resources? Yes.
Correct.
Okay. And does anyone on the committee have additional questions? No. No? Does anyone on the full board have questions or comments? Okay. Being none, if you agree on the committee to move this forward, please say yes.
Yes.
Then this moves forward, yes as well. This moves forward to the special meeting this evening. And then we have S, the Board of Directors ratify the out-of-state field trip as presented. So there's the field trip to July 24th, which happened, and the 7/31, which happened, and 8/7, which happened. So that's why it's ratification. And I don't have any questions. Does anyone else on the committee have any questions? No? Anyone on the full board? No? Then if you agree to move this forward, please say yes on the committee.
Yes.
Yes, and that goes to this evening's special meeting. Oh my gosh, I'm so close. No, I'm not. S. Wait. Oh yeah, sorry. One more down. The Board of School Directors approved the placement of Miss Gabriela Zamudio Flores to the position school psychologist intern. Fantastic. Does anyone have any comments or questions on the committee? No. Fantastic. Anyone on the full board? Nope. Seeing none, committee members, could you please say yes if you approve?
Yes.
Yes. And this will move to the end of the month meeting. U, Immaculata University Student Observations. Recommended that the Board of School Directors approve the Immaculata University Juniors Fall 2024 Classroom Observations as presented. And there's a lovely chart. I'm not going to go and announce the whole chart of when these dates and occurrences and who and where these were all going to happen. Does anyone on the committee have questions about these? No. Anyone on the board? Fantastic. Then with the committee, could you please say yes to move this forward?
Yes.
Yes. And that goes on the end of the month meeting for approval. V, revision of the 2024-25 school calendar. That the Board of Directors approve the revision as presented, and it consists of a change in the 2024 graduation date from Wednesday, June the 4th to Thursday, June the 5th. Does anyone have any questions about that? No? Okay. Anyone on the board have questions? Why are you laughing at me? To move it forward, committee members, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. That will move to tonight's special meeting. W, I need water. That the Board of School Directors approved the field placement of Miss Zavia McCullum from the Westchester University Social Work Department to the high school campus this fall, pending clearances as presented. She has an affiliation agreement on file already. Is there anyone who has comments or questions about that item on the committee? No. Perfect. Does anyone on the full board have any questions or comments? Okay. With none, the committee, could you please say yes if you agree to move it forward?
Yes.
Yes. And that's going to go on tonight. Oh, the end of the month, sorry. The end of the month meeting. X, donation, advertising in the football stadium. Recommended action that the Board of School Directors approve the advertising in the football stadium as presented. Does anyone on the committee have any questions or comments about this item? No. Hesitantly, no? Okay. Does anyone on the full board have any questions or comments? No. Okay. Then if you agree on the committee to move this forward, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And then that will move to the end of month meeting. Why? Westchester Student Teacher Fall 2024 placements, August 28th, 2024 to December 12th. Did I miss one? Did that change from 5 o'clock this evening? Because I printed this right before I came. No? Hmm. So where's Lens Crafters? What?
Kicked off.
Yeah, all the ones that I printed. And the one you gave me. So I have Z as Lens Crafters, so should I go to Z? Okay. So I don't know what the public one is. Regardless of the letter? Okay. The Westchester Student Teacher Fall 2024 Placements. Does anyone here have any questions or comments about that? On the committee? No?
No.
Full board? Fantastic. Then if we agree, say yes.
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 Yes. And that will move forward to the end of month. And then I have Z, which is Lens Crafters donation to Callan. Recommended that the Board of School Directors approves a donation to Callan from Lens Crafters as presented. And Lens Crafters wants to partner with Callan Elementary School to provide free eye exams and glasses to students in need of vision care. Their mission is to enhance the educational experience of students in our community by ensuring they have access to clear vision, which is essential for academic success and personal development by addressing vision issues. They aim to empower students to reach their full potential and achieve their dreams. The event will be held on Sunday, September 8th, from 5 to 7 p.m., and they're looking to help 25 students who need eyeglasses the most. Does anyone on the committee have questions?
Yes. So, explain the 25 kids the most. Are they testing all of the kids?
I think they're looking at the socioeconomic and the recommendations that the school makes. They very much like a tiered system in title programming, where we have to go from the bottom up. We can only service so many students. I think they were willing to give us 25 students to pay for their eye exam
Gotcha.
and their glasses.
So it'll be 25 total students.
Correct.
Okay.
And the likelihood they don't have insurance, no other way or means to, okay, thank you. Okay, does anyone else on the committee have questions or comments? No? Anyone else on the full board? Okay, then obviously we'd like to thank Lens Crafters for their generosity, and if you agree on the committee to move this forward, say yes.
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 Yes, and that will go to the end of the month meeting. Double A, confidential settlement agreement, student 1008931. Recommended that the Board of School Directors approve the confidential settlement agreement. I don't have any questions or comments. I'm sure no one else on the board will have any questions or comments because it's confidential. So at this time, if the committee members agree to move this forward, please say yes.
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 Yes. Okay, and then that being said, that will move forward to tonight, or the end of month meeting. Thank you. BB, affiliation agreement with Capella University, signature required. Recommended action that we approve the affiliation agreement with Capella University for pre-licensure school counseling students, clinical experience as presented. Does anyone on the committee have any comments or questions?
No.
No? Anyone on the full board? Nope. Being, if you on the committee agree to move this forward, please say yes.
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 Yes, and that will move to the end of the month meeting. CC, donation advertising in the multipurpose field. Recommended that the Board of School Directors approve the advertising at the multipurpose field for the girls' soccer team as presented. Anyone on the committee have questions or concerns?
No.
Nope. Anyone on the full board have questions or concerns? Nope. If you agree to move this forward, please say yes.
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 Yes, and that would move to the end of month meeting. DD, the CCIU STEM proposal steals support, professional development, proposal for the CCIU, that the school directors approve the steals proposal for CCIU as presented. And I know the standards are changing. So, Mr. Rubarczyk, is there any way you could come up and kind of explain?
I would like to have Lynn
Oh, Lynn?
Mancinelli,
I'm
our
sorry,
curriculum
Lynn.
supervisor, come up and talk to us.
Yay! Thank you, Lynn.
So you may or may not know that Pennsylvania has recently updated science standards. They had not changed the standards since 2002. So the new standards, which we call STEELs, are going to be implemented in 25, 26, so not this school year, but the next. So we are doing a lot of work this year, and we began this work last year in preparation for the new standards. The STEELs stands for Science, Technology and Engineering, Environmental Literacy, and Sustainability. So it's a very different set of standards from what our science teachers are accustomed to. It's a little bit aligned more closely with NGSS, which was adopted many years ago in many other states. One of the focuses of STEELs is a shift to phenomena-based learning. And this is where we really encourage students to make sense of science, to make sense of it in the real-world applications. So it is very different in that it's not just a knowledge-based approach where we're learning facts and memorizing things like I would have done back in the day. And so it's much more going to give students an opportunity to collaborate, to explain, to justify, and to learn not only about the core science disciplines, life sciences, physical science, earth and space, but also these new parameters in terms of environmental literacy. And one of the things that's very interesting about it is that it uses a three-dimensional approach to instruction. So in addition to standards, the disciplinary core ideas they're called, we've got science and engineering practices, and then cross-cutting concepts. So there's a lot of new things coming. The great thing about STEELs is that I think it will really bring a spark back to science learning. It really does engage students in a different way. It sparks curiosity, and I'm hopeful that we'll see in the future one place where maybe we'll start to see the impact is, for instance, in our science fair, right? Because I think in having students be part of a different approach to their instruction, I think it'll build some of that confidence and then just some of the curiosity that they might want to extend even beyond what they do in the classroom. So because this is a new endeavor for many teachers, we do have a plan to provide them with professional learning, so that they're comfortable and ready to embrace STEELs. So we're looking at, we've had some support this year from the IU. We did something called a high quality instructional material review, where we were looking at some of the different resources that are out there to try and identify what we might want to bring into our schools to support students. So that's what some of the things we've done so far. We've worked with the IU to kind of get everyone's feet wet. We have a team of science leaders representing all the buildings and all grade levels. And so they're someone that we kind of go to get some of the extra information and to build capacity that they can bring back to their teams. So they've worked with the IU this year, so we'll be expanding that, but we really want to give this opportunity to help teachers as we ask them to pilot. We're going to be piloting some new units. It's not quite the same as the math pilots we've done, which have been full year, very intense opportunities. This will be a little bit different. We'll be looking at units and looking at the different courses we offer, how we might want to integrate or follow the patterns we have now. So there's a lot of work to be done, and the IU has been a really good partner in helping us work through those new endeavors. Anybody have any questions?
No, thank you so much.
Sure.
Anyone else on the board have questions? No? Okay, so if the committee agrees to move it forward, please say yes.
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 Yes. And that's going to go to tonight's special meeting. EE, contracts. Recommended action at the school that the Board of School Directors approve the ESY 23-24 and 24-25 agreements between Coatesville and the Devereaux Foundation for, I don't have any other questions about this one. Does anyone have any comments or questions on the committee? Anyone on the full board? Nope. Okay, if you agree to move this forward, please say yes.
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 Yes, and that's going to go at the end of the month. Thank you, Lori. All right, FF, Title I School-Wide Plans. So I am going to ask Dr. Rubarczyk to please come forward and explain the Title I reporting requirement and what these represent.
So each of the plans that are posted to the agenda are each individual school's plan as part of being school-wide Title I buildings. And those buildings that are CSI, ATSI, those that have areas that they need improvement on, they are developed plans that focus in on specific needs of the building based on the data that fell out from the PSSAs, and the overall Future Ready Index. So that's why the plans are developed the way they are. And then, so each of the principals works with the CCIU representative who supports our school-wide comprehensive school improvements to develop those plans and then determine what actions need to take place.
Does anyone else on the committee have any questions about any of these? No? Anyone on the full board? No? Thank you, Dr. Rubarczyk. If the committee agrees to move this forward, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. And then that will move forward to the end of the month meeting. And we have no informational items. Any old or new business that I'm aware of? Anyone? Nope. And then I guess we move to public comment. And we would like to welcome Ms. Lori Shanabailey.
Good evening. First, I'd like to say thank you very much for meeting with the Education Law Center. It shows that you, first of all, do listen to my recommendations. And number one, it shows that we have a vested interest in the community. We may not always agree on things, but we do agree that we want the very best for our children, which is a world-class education for all of our students. So thank you very much for that. I wanted to start off by talking about the Code of Conduct. I did not see it on the website, and I'm just wondering why it isn't there. Maybe you're waiting on the final approval, but it would have been nice to see the final draft. So I was just wondering, when can we expect to see the final draft of the Code of Conduct? I'm not sure, but I looked for it and I couldn't see it. The other thing is I was asking about whether or not you considered offering the various organizations in the community, whether or not they would be interested in some of those journals and math books that you all were going to sell or either donate. There are some organizations in the community, which I listed in my email to you, that might be interested in those resources. One of the things that I know some of our children are suffering with is technology and trying to learn skills with Chromebooks. And so to have books, especially math books, and to be able to use those in a tutoring situation might be very helpful. Consideration to asking the community organizations if they would be interested in receiving those would be very much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I did want to mention, I was going to mention earlier, that initially that Code of Conduct was up there for a minute, but there were some additional edits being made, so it's not up for review this evening.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. At this time, the next committee meeting for education will be Tuesday, September the 10th, 2024. And at this time, I will adjourn at 6:45 p.m.
Can I ask a question before you do adjourn? Is there any work in, let me make sure I say it right, in regards to FBI clearances, child abuse clearances, criminal background checks? Have they now been, there's a list of the staff that we can
Ma'am?
actually see visually that they've had their clearances? I asked for that at the last meeting.
Is it Ms. Miller?
Yes, it is.
Hi, Ms. Miller.
How are you?
I'm good. So if you wanted to make a public comment, you could certainly sign up for public
did.
comment tonight.
Yes, I did now.
Oh, on a different area?
I just signed up, I didn't know there was a meeting with everybody.
Oh, that's it. This is just for this education committee meeting. So that you could ask at a different time, correct?
I'm happy to do that. Would you like me to? Okay. Ma'am, there's going to be a special board meeting following the committee meetings.
Okay, this evening?
There is, and
Okay, was that actually listed?
the special board meeting was advertised.
Okay, thank you.
So at this point, as Director Seagreaves just mentioned, the public comments for this particular committee meeting are related to committee meeting items.
That's perfectly fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting me know that. I appreciate it. Welcome, everyone, to the Operations Committee meeting, August 13th, 2024. I note the presence of committee members Liz Muirhan and Holly Charest. With that being said, we have a quorum, so we'll move forward with the meeting. Our first agenda item will be agenda item A. Before I go, you're going to see a number of agenda items under operations that are in regards to the repairs from the storm. So just keep in mind as you see these things that that's what we'll be discussing. All right, agenda item A. The Board of School Directors approved the quote from Kerpansky Fencing LLC to remove.
We have to approve the minutes as well.
Okay,
There's
so
3 item A's.
what should I be doing first? Approving the minutes?
Oh, sorry.
I'll listen to Liz. Okay, so I'm asking. Yes, we're going to approve the minutes? Yes. Presentation?
We need to approve them first.
Okay. Do we have approval of the minutes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Presentation? Now is the presentation.
All right, this evening we have a presentation from the Schrader Group and ICS to give us project updates across the district with regard to construction.
Okay. Well, thank you. Appreciate the opportunity to be here, and we'll make it quick, but there's a lot going on, as you mentioned, for other parts of operations, so we thought we'd bring it all to you so you have a sense of what's going on. I'm David Schrader. Matt Kelly's from ICS. He'll probably do the first part here, and then I'll handle the second part. Just a reminder that you are currently working on South Brandywine Middle School site. You'll see 2 items relating to that. You're working on Scott's 6th grade center, and then of course when it converts to a middle school. We have work going on shortly at Reeseville Elementary, and you'll see today that plus North Brandywine Middle School's bids, which were very favorable, so that'll be good news. And we're beginning work on Kings Highway as well. So those are the projects that we'll talk about. And I think, Matt, you want to hit the first couple, and then I'll hit the last one.
No problem. All right, a little shorter, so I got to lower this down. So Reeseville's the first project we like to talk about. This is the addition that Schrader David mentioned. This is a couple of things going on here. So we had a few things approved for water relocation that had to do with the additions. That was approved, I believe, maybe 2 board meetings ago. We are waiting on permits, and then once that happens, we'll start that work. As you know, school is coming up, but the plan is to do this off hours over weekends. It's only going to be a 3-day shutdown, and we are coordinating with the school. So that's what's going on right now. Bidding, as David mentioned, has been underway, and we received bids today in the room at 1 o'clock, and which, again, we're favorable. We are seeking board approval at the next board meeting on August 27th. And just to give you a quick update on the bids, so the original estimate was a little over $5 million. Today's low bids came in right around $4 million, which is great. We had a great turnout. There was probably 8 different contractors for each trade that we went out with. We will have to look at alternates and look at a few and vet out the low bidders. So we will provide that information ahead of the next board meeting, but are looking to move it forward in order for us to award at the board meeting. Construction would start in October. Next project is on North Brandywine addition, which on the same site. Similarly to the water, we also had we have to do some gas relocation. And again, the reason we're doing this now and ahead of time is because we have to move those in order for us to do the foundation. So this kind of gets us ahead of and allows us to meet the dates that we need to do to open up in the following fall. So similarly, we have the bids underway. We had received those today. Again, the project will also start in October. And similarly, we're going to be seeking board approval on August 27th as well. As far as the bids go, even better results here. Originally, we were looking at $10.7 million, came in at 6.3. So there are some additional savings there, which was great news. Again, we have to do the same thing and vet these. So that is North Brandywine and Reesville. Scott Middle School. Again, a little bit more of an update. This is one project that has been going on over the summer for construction. This is really split up into 3, just as a reminder. One was U.S. Roofing is doing the roof. That roof is being done this summer and next summer. Siemens is doing the Giza project, which is replacing the heating and cooling systems in the building, along with a couple of the, I believe, the generator. As you can see, there's several locations that have been completed this summer, including the cafeteria, 4th floor roof. The slate roof is gone now. The architectural shingles are going on. And then as far as the Siemens HVAC, the boilers have been installed. The existing chillers are being started up. We are putting in new chillers slated for next year. This is all outside. The existing ones are inside, and the new one's going outside, so that everything is set up. And the startup did occur, which was good news. And then the last piece before school is the cleaning and the sealing going back in right now. So we're working overtime to get that ready for the teachers and the children coming in a week or so. The other part of the project is in design, which is going to be the finishes. We have gone through initial schematic design, working in the DDs, and those we'll be looking for, going out to bid in October for seeking approval in November. So those are the 3 projects that I'll talk about. A few pictures here too for Scott Middle School that you can see here. These are not recent. These are a little while ago, but see some progress there. And I'll hand it over to David for South Brandywine Middle School.
Okay, so a reminder about North Brandywine, the addition that you're about to build will have a new building attached to it, and then old North Brandywine will come down. So just so everybody keeps that in mind, this is phase 1 of a new building, which is kind of exciting. South Brandywine. So you're aware that there's demolition going on there, and if you've driven by the site, you know that demolition, this says 75% complete. It's more than that this week. Expectation is that you will see that completed this week. There was a little bit of a delay due to storm damage. I've created some access issues to the site, probably no surprise. It does not have an impact on the overall date, but the contractors are out there finalizing their work. Expectation is end of the month, you'll see all of that clean. And a reminder about this one, the slab will stay in place until the new project goes through. That is all partially due to land development approval processes where you want to leave that impervious surface in place, and then you build the stormwater around the entire site and take that out as part of that project. Some of the imagery here of that building coming down and the slab itself staying in place. You also see some of the driveways here that'll be utilized for some of the construction process as time goes on. So that has gone very well. There was some environmental hazardous material removal that was part of that process, and that's all been taken care of as well. So the new project, we've been in the land development process with the township, and we have a meeting next week, as a matter of fact, for the project. The construction cost estimating is approximately where it originally was. And as you have seen, the projects so far have come in under budget. So what that does is it leaves us a little bit of cushion for this project, which right now is the bigger of all the projects. The expectation is that this will be out to bid at the end of August, and you as a board will be seeing those numbers in October and hopefully approving to move that project forward. The site plan, the salmon color or whatever color you're seeing for the building sits right around where the South Brandywine Middle School site sits. The right-hand side will be parent drop-off. You can see the yellow on the left-hand side for bus drop-off. So you've seen this plan before, and this is what the township has seen. I'll show you a couple of the images that you have seen before. This would be the new entry to the building. As you come up the roadway, this is what you'll see as you kind of come over the hillside. The back side of the building will have playgrounds, 2 distinct playgrounds, one each for 2 different grade groupings. And then the back of the building is where you'll see the media center library space with a nice little commons area outside of that as well. So 3 nice indoor-outdoor spaces for the students, which will be great on that beautiful site. What we have today, we don't have floor plans, again, for security purposes, but you begin to see some of the interior spaces. When you come in that front lobby, this is a 2-story building. There will be a really nice central connection point, a stairway that gets you from the bottom to the top. And gathered around that are the media center spaces, one of which is a 2-story space, connecting that ground floor and second floor, so the whole building feels connected. Adjacent to that will be the art classrooms and the STEAM classrooms, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, obviously. And so these 2 spaces will be really key spaces to integrating with all of those great programs that will go on in the building and that you are integrating into other buildings as well. The classrooms have a nice little small group instruction space. You can see that behind that almost barn door concept on the left-hand side of the image. So there will be small group push-in and pull-out spaces directly adjacent to the classroom spaces. There's also for each grade, we've been calling these the grade commons or grade clusters. These areas are directly outside the classroom areas, and it's a great place. You already have this in at least one of your other buildings, but it's a great place to bring 2, 3, or 4 classrooms together in one space and to have them work together. Just one of those little small group instruction spaces connecting to the classrooms. And finally, one of the original goals of this project was to be able to have a place in the building where you can bring the entire student body. And so the gymnasium and cafeteria are connected through a very large folding partition. When that partition's open, you have a great big space for either student use or community use as is needed here. So a great gathering space in the building that also closes and becomes the gym and the cafeteria. And then finally, the last project is the Kings Highway project. This just began in process. We're in the initial stages of schematic design and planning. The engineering and architecture and site teams have all been at the building doing various tours of the different systems that need to be replaced, and we're starting to build that scope of work so we know exactly what we want to do at Kings Highway going forth here. So that's the short summary.
Thank you. Does the board have any questions? No. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
All right, now we will move into our agenda items, starting with 4A. Our first agenda item is 4A. This will be, again, a number of these will be about the repairs because of the storm damage. So if you hear some large numbers, pause for a moment and understand why. All right, 4A, that the Board of School Directors approve the quote from Krupinski Fencing LLC to remove chain link fence posts damaged in storm and replace 2 4x4 and posts and 13 3-foot line posts, reinstall existing 12-foot high fence and framework at the baseball softball fields for a total cost of $9,200 as presented. Does anyone on the committee have any questions?
No.
Any of the board members like to have any comments or questions? Hearing no questions or comments, please state yes if you agree to recommend this for the full board approval.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Moving on to 4B, mainline commercial pools. That the Board of School Directors approve the contract from Mainline Commercial Pools for twice-a-month service to the high school pool from the period of July 1, 2024 to June 30th, 2025 for a monthly cost of $1,250 as presented. Does anyone on the committee have any questions or comments?
No.
I was just wondering, is this a new contract with a new provider, or is it a renewal, and how does the rate compare?
This is a renewal. Comparison, I believe it's around the same. I would have to confirm for sure, but it's not far off from where they were last year.
Thank you.
Any board members have any questions or comments? Hearing no questions or comments, please state yes if you agree to recommend this item for full board approval.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Moving on to 4C, that the Board of School Directors approve the ratification of the invoice from Weaver Landscaping Services for the emergency service storm response to East Fallowfield Elementary, Rainbow Elementary, and cash for tree debris cleanup and removal for the total cost of $11,197.50. Does anyone on the committee have any questions or comments? Anyone on the board have any questions or comments? Hearing no questions or comments, please state yes if you agree to recommend this for full board approval.
Yes.
Yes.
4D, that the Board of School Directors approve the ratification quote from Weaver Landscaping Services for the sidewalk replacement at East Fallowfield Elementary at the front entrance of the building for a total cost of $2,835 as presented. Does anybody on the committee have questions or comments?
No.
Any board members have any questions or comments? Hearing no questions or comments, please state yes if you agree to recommend this item for full board approval.
Yes.
Yes.
4E, that the Board of School Directors approve the quote from GA Vetri Incorporated for the replacement of damaged wood pole for sports lighting at cash for the total cost of $7,125. Does any committee members have any questions or comments?
Was this for storm damage, or was this like maintenance?
Storm damage.
Storm damage, okay.
Yes. Any board members have any questions or comments? Hearing no questions or comments, please state yes if you agree to recommend this for board approval.
Yes.
Yes. I have a suggestion, because the 3 vans are all identical, can we combine and approve all those together?
And I could just say just like that.
Yeah, we can take items F, G,
G,
and
H.
all together.
Okay, F, G, H, and just combine them. Okay, so we're going to combine items for F, for G, and for H for van approval. So let's do that. That the Board of School Directors approve the quote from Brian Haskins Ford for 2024 Transit 250 cargo, all-wheel drive medium roof van 148 feet wheelbase for the Facilities Department to replace older vehicles at a total cost of $59,998 as presented. Does anyone in the committee have any questions or comments?
I just had a question. I'm wondering, what do we expect the useful life of the vehicles to be, and how does that compare? I've driven some of the district vans, so I'm not at all debating that they needed to be replaced. Just curious about that.
Mr. Brazil, would you like to come up and talk about it?
The question was, what is the expected useful life of the new vans, and how does that compare to the length of service in the vans that they're replacing?
So if these were to compare to the ones we have now, we should have them in 20 years, maybe plus.
Like I said,
So,
I've driven some of the district vans, so I'm not at all surprised.
I'm not going to guess, but, you know, we do have some vehicles that are still in 1990s, early 2000s, 100,000 miles, and really not suitable for what we're doing. So the district has, in the past few years, obtained 3 other vehicles, 2 pickup trucks and a van, and these are more suitable for what we're looking to do, and we're trying to upgrade and make sure we have the wherewithal to do our job.
Great. And how many years useful life do you anticipate getting out of these?
I would say with the mileage, we do at least 15, 18.
Okay.
Taken care of.
Thank you.
Yep, and just a note, they are being purchased locally. So,
I saw that. Thank you.
all right.
Any board members have any questions or comments? Hearing no questions or comments, please state yes if you agree to recommend this item for full board approval.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, moving on to 4I. That the Board of School Directors approve the list of bus routes for the 2024-2025 school year as presented. Does anybody on the committee have any questions or comments? Any board members have any questions or comments? Hearing no questions or comments, please state yes if you agree to recommend this item for full board approval.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. 4J, that the Board of School Directors approve the Memorandum of Understanding with the Coatesville Area Teachers Association for the implementation of multi-factor authentication as presented. Does anyone on the committee have questions or comments about this item?
I noticed that this item is confidential. Is that because it relates to security matters?
Correct. Some of the programs that come onto it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Any board members have any questions or comments? Outstanding. Hearing no questions or comments, please state yes if you agree to recommend this item for full board approval.
Yes.
Outstanding. We have no informational items, no old business, no new business, no public comments. Our next meeting would.
Or do we have public comment?
And listen, man, I mean. All right, one public comment, Michelle Muhammad. Outstanding.
Yes, sir. Good evening. Good evening. Thank you for letting me make a comment. I'm not quite sure if you can give me the answer to this, or does it have to go to the formal full board? But since it's operations and you have on here, you're purchasing 3 vans for about $60,000. And anybody who knows, I'm a band mom. I'm gonna just tell you that straight up. I'm a band mom. So I'm here, I got my band mom hat on tonight, okay? So, as everybody knows, every music program in the whole district of Coatesville feeds into the cash, to the band at cash. So we are the face of Coatesville in the band. We have a equipment trailer. We call him Big Red. And Big Red has been pulled by a van that's probably older than the first van that's in this city. And poor baby is falling apart. We have been told directly that none of the parents can drive it because it's considered a district item, which we understand. But over the years, the brakes have gone bad. We as parents have paid for fixing stuff. We've replaced the battery because it went out at an event. It went out and we bought a battery. It stopped on the side of the road once, and we as parents pulled our credit cards together and rented a van to get all the equipment to an event for the children. Reason I'm saying this, we had an opportunity earlier this year to buy a truck to pull Big Red, and it was only $41,000. We as parents only had $60,000 in our account. We were going to pay the $41,000 to get that truck and then sell it to the district for half of that. We were denied. So we as parents have to raise money to even do the things that the children need to have a successful band year. So out of these 3 vans that y'all are purchasing, I want to know if one of them is going to replace the one that's falling apart, pulling Big Red, because we already look like country come to town when we go to a competition. I mean, that's never been a... So I'm not quite sure if I need to ask that question to you, but I saw y'all purchasing vans for way more than a truck we were able to find that qualified to pull Big Red. So that's why I'm asking in operations, if that's possible. If not, I can ask the huge board as a whole. So please clarify if you can answer that, or should I go to the board to ask that? Sorry.
Ms. Mohammed, I'll follow up with you. I know that you and I have had a conversation about this before, and so you and I will work through this with the band director and the high school administration.
Yes, ma'am.
You're welcome.
And I just want to let you know, Ms. Mohammed, that I too am a band mom. I drove those kids to Wildwood, so I can relate to everything that you're describing.
Thank you. We're moving on to announce our next meeting will be Tuesday, September 10th, 2024, and that adjourns the Operation Committee.
Okay. I lost my agenda here. Just a moment. I got a little click happy. Okay. I'm calling to order the Finance Committee agenda at 7:14 p.m. Myself and Robin Seagreaves are members of committee who are present. I'd like to ask for a volunteer to join the committee for the evening to give us a quorum. Thank you, Director Yako. Okay, seeing as we have a quorum, we will proceed. First item of business is the approval of the June 11th, 2024 Finance Committee meeting minutes. If there are any additions, corrections, please speak now. Seeing none, these minutes are approved. We will move on to our presentation from Special Olympics Unified Sports.
Good evening, Board of School Directors and Dr. Van Voorn. Ms. Luciani, I here this evening would like to thank you for the opportunity to present regarding this opportunity. Over the past few months, we have been in discussions with some of our community members who are also parents with students at the high school, and also they were able to connect us with the senior advisor of Special Olympics of Pennsylvania. As you may be aware, the district has a state-approved comprehensive plan, and within that is a strategic plan within the Athletics and Activities Office. One of those goals of the strategic plan was to increase participation and also, let's see here. Sorry, let me straighten the slide out here for you first. Let's go back to, okay. I got you. So the first couple items that we did to attack one of the goals of increasing participation was that we were able to add girls flag football recently, and prior to that, we did a middle school lacrosse program. So this is just another opportunity for students to get involved. It's also a way to ask the board's permission to add a more inclusive program with the unified sports team through partnership of the Special Olympics of Pennsylvania. The program will not only address the participation goal, but also really has opportunity to continue to build our climate and culture within the buildings, high school specifically, 9 through 12, with this program. Again, we had a little historical perspective on this. We had initial conversations with a local level with the Chester County Intermediate Unit. It was back in 21, 22, and this is a program that we weren't able to get off the ground because of some of those IU employees since moved on. So the conversations I started kind of stalled out based on those employees moving forward. So again, we're thankful that we had this opportunity, that our parents and our community members were able to connect us with the Special Olympics of Pennsylvania, which is the state organization, which is even a greater opportunity than what we had with the IU back in 21, 22. At this point, I'd like to have Ms. Luciani speak about the team aspect, and then when she goes through, there's different components within this. So when she talks about the team aspect, then I'll talk about the club aspect that's also related to this program.
So the United Sports High School teams that were being offered to us are a track and field team in addition to a bocce team. Right now, we want to get things up and moving and having our students that have all types of differences to be involved and remain very active. So the purpose of the United Sports is to incorporate whole school engagement, which also further awareness for differences among students while promoting inclusion and embodies an inclusive student leadership. The idea of United Sports brings together students that are with and without disabilities. It encompasses sports and leadership. It helps facilitate the social inclusion and improvement of school climate. Students brought together as equal peers to demonstrate and promote the values of inclusion, acceptance, teamwork, empowerment for all. To me, I believe that United Sports is a prime example of how the Coatesville Area School District works to build the sense of belonging for all of our students. So the philosophy behind it, the Special Olympics of PA has partnered with the PIAA to help create the United Sports as not just simply participation, but rather through creating high expectations and making it competitive for all the athletes. This can provide an eye-opening experience with a positive light for all of our students to develop friendships through shared interests that they find amongst the teammates, with those that are with and without disabilities. The makeup of the team is a maximum of 40 students. It is a spring sport, and it can be a total, and the breakdown is of 40% with disabilities, 40% without disabilities, and then 20% of a mixture, whether we decide of whether or not we want to add either full 20% without or full 20% with, but in my eyes, it should be an equal split. Practice is after school at the high school campus, 2 days a week. It would work in cahoots with the other teams that are running as well, but being separate as well. The events that they have are modified for them, but once again, still remaining very, very competitive. It's highly structured, it abides by the modified PAA rules and regulations. Its regular season will have a total of 4 meets, 1 which will be at home, and then 3 which would be away. The athletes would have the opportunity to advance to postseason championships and the state or the possible state championships, which is held at Shippensburg University during the same weekend as our PIAA Outdoor Track and Field Championship is going on. They have a certain amount of events for the students that they can choose from. They have 1 track field event that they would pick, and then 1 field event they would also. They train for the field, and then they also train for the track. They also have 100 meters, 400 meter, and the 800 meter relay races, in addition to the 4x1 relay race and the 4x400 relay. They also include shot put, long jump, and then a mini javelin as well. Really, the idea of this is to have the opportunity to really allow these students to feel a sense of a belonging, not only with students that have disabilities, but students without, and get that success of what a team feels like to bring them all together. It allows the opportunity to allow each and everyone's uniqueness and talent to be demonstrated during this track and field event opportunity. Once again, because it has to abide by PAA rules, eligibility and physicals are required as well. We have found that locally, there have been some schools that also have adopted a unified track and field team in addition. We are trying to get not only to be us on that map, but we're trying to provide some more for the Chester County community as well. So we believe that us, in addition to Avon Grove, Downtown East, Great Valley, and Owen J. Roberts, are a great addition that we can help aid to promote this even more to further schools within Chester County. Mr. Changer is now going to discuss how the unified club would come in sense.
Just one thing to add, specifically with track and field. If you're not aware, our stadium hosts several events, track and field related. So we are really the home for southeastern Pennsylvania when it comes to Chester County Special Olympics are already held there. Our District 1 championships, which bring over 100 schools annually there, and our league, the Chesmont League, with 13 schools coming. So this is a great opportunity to continue to expand upon that. As you saw, many of those schools are also within the District 1 confines that come to us already for track and field. So again, this ties right in with that. So what you see there is just a graphic on how the track and field team in a club relates to the comprehensive plan, as well as you mentioned it tonight as far as the district's focus on inclusion, dignity, and some leadership opportunities, additional leadership opportunities within the building. As we continue to reach out to our students and we continuously try to find ways for them to be leaders in our school, leaders in our community, leaders in our district. So this is yet another opportunity for students to do that. So here are some highlights on the club's aspect of the program. So Lisa talked about the actual team itself, but separately is a club. Again, it's not required to have athletes from the track and field team to be part of the club. So again, it will welcome additional students to get involved. The nice part about a club is if it's a spring athlete, they can't be involved on the team, but they can be part of the club just due to the PIAA regulations with this. But again, they would not be able to, if they're not able to participate on the track and field team, then they can participate in the club, which is nice. There are 2 separate components that allows them to still be involved again through this club. And as you can see, the unified club, the club would focus on, meeting regularly and structured as an inclusive group. So it'll be students with disabilities and students without disabilities. Conduct student-led activities which promote acceptance, respect, and community throughout the school, which we already talked about. And it gives our students with disabilities more of a voice in our school along with their peers without disabilities. And again, we talked about leadership opportunities again. So And I know since this is the Finance Committee, the question is, what does it cost the district? So I think Lisa's going to just touch base on some of those costs and where we are with the Special Olympics of Pennsylvania as far as the finance piece of this.
So they're very fortunate enough to provide with us for the first 2 years. They'll provide a $1,500 stipend distributed between 1 or 2 coaches. My request would be for 2 coaches, which is preferred, that they ask for as well. They provide the equipment, which would be a shot put, mini javelins, 2 relay batons, and then 2 coaching shirts. In addition to that, they provide 25 track and field competitive uniforms with our name, logo, and colors as well. The training and resource materials, which some of our coaches might not be used to dealing with students that are with and without disabilities, so they provide training materials. They also do that for the club portion of it as well, to figure out how to get whole school engagement to be incorporated in other activities or other events at school. They also provide what they call Spread the Word for Inclusion awareness campaign. They provide the promotional materials and supplies for that. And then also, if our team advances to the state championship, they'll pay for the housing, the meals, and the on-site costs for the first 2 years. So what are our expenses? Transportations to the meet. That's what one of those things are going to be. So if we have 1 home and then 3 away, we have to provide, which will come out of the athletic department, the transportation to get that team there to and from. If a student needs the support, such as an aide, which we require for practice and meets, we would need help from the special education department here to help provide for that cost to allow that aide to be there for after-school practices twice a week and or the meet as well. After 2 years, we then will contribute, our district will take over the stipend for the coaches as well. The stipend for the advisor for the Unified Club is something that we will have to look at. And being a piloted program for 2 years, those units are kind of already set. There are some additional resources that Brian's going to be able to talk about that as well.
And some of that financial obligation that Lisa just mentioned, we've already done in the past as well, depending on the situation, whatever the IEP calls for. We have had aides with extracurricular activities already, so it's really nothing new in that regard, but I just wanted to mention that as well. So what other guidance is provided by Special Olympics of Pennsylvania, Unified Sports training courses? They have guides, access to free online instructional materials. A liaison is assigned to us to support our personnel, our coaches, advisors, and the leaders within the club. They provide materials and guidance on conducting student-driven respect, and they have an awareness campaign, and also a regional summit for student leaders and advisors to attend as well. I'd just like to thank, first and foremost, the parents and community members who connected us with Special Olympics of Pennsylvania. As the timing of this opportunity aligns with our district's implementation of maintaining our equity and building our sense of belonging through dignity and the inclusion practices. Again, going back a couple years ago, we tried to get it more local, and this is, I think, a greater opportunity for us. And I think the timing is perfect to pursue this. So if Lisa and I can answer any questions, we'd be happy to do so, or do our best to help with any questions that may exist.
Sure. I'll start off and then see if other members of the committee or board have questions. Thank you so much for the presentation. I'm excited about this program. It sounds phenomenal. I'm curious, do you have any thoughts? Is there interest in, being the coaches, being the advisor? Do you already kind of have feelers out and know that there's some interest in that? And then also, what's your sense for the student body and their interest in participating? Are we going to be able to field a full team?
So as it goes for the interest of the advisors and or the coaches, we did sit down and we have brought up some individuals that have expressed some of these things that they would like to help bring into our school or within our community. So I've already had discussions with them to let them know that this possibly could be up and coming, and seeing if they were still willing to work with our students that are disabled and not disabled to create this unified team. They were exceptionally excited. We have some that are just strictly would be the club advisors, because we were advised that the club advisors and the coaches should not be of the same. They run very similarly. However, it's good to kind of see that there's more to it besides just one track and field team or just one club. So we want to make sure that we open it enough. So I've also reached out to those of coaches that do have some special education background, but yet also some coaching background, to try and see if they would be interested. And they were hands down ready to go, in addition to an individual who has coached and been very successful through our own district when she was an alumna and when she was a student here. So she also has the background knowledge of track and field for that as well. In addition to the participation, I actually spoke with 2 students today, just speaking about them not being a spring athlete. If this was brought to a table and we were told that this is, we have this opportunity, how would you feel about it? And they said, how can I sign up? It wasn't even a question. It wasn't, what can I do? This sounds so fun. This sounds exciting. They are aware that we do have some students in our middle school, in addition to our high school, that have had some disability challenges, and they've always embraced them on those regular teams. And now they know that if we have this opportunity, we can do more for them with and without disabilities, and feel that sense of, once again, belonging.
Thank you.
Just to add on, Ms. Muirhead, that I will say that our teachers in the building are phenomenal recruiters as well. So, and Lisa as well, because again, going back to that flag football, she was able to recruit, walked in that large group room and she had that recruiting meeting and had 50, 60 students present. So I anticipate the same sort of interest, with, again, our teachers recruiting and Lisa's leadership with that as well.
That's great. Yeah, where I went to school, we had a life skills class and we did a lot of combined activities, and it was really rewarding. So one of my classmates is actually a Paralympic ice skating champion, which is pretty cool. Thank you. Other committee members have questions or comments?
I do. As a mom with an autistic son, this is very exciting to me. You asked the question about the coach. Awesome. What about, Coatesville kids who are in those private schools are they allowed to participate in that?
We can certainly double check on that, but if it's a private school and if we're following PLAA regulations, then it may not be, depending on the private school, but we can certainly follow up and find out through Special Olympics of Pennsylvania. Because if it's something of a placement that we've used, then that potentially could be. So that's something we can certainly follow up.
I know that his school doesn't have a sports team or anything like that.
Right, so this may
he's
be.
only in 4th grade, so I mean,
Right.
it's not like it's
Well,
tomorrow.
hopefully, it maintains throughout the years
Right,
and
totally.
provides that opportunity.
Great.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Other board members have questions?
I have a question. Just out of curiosity, students who participate that have been diagnosed with a disability, is it required that it has to be implemented on their IEP or anything like that? Do they need that kind of permission before participating in this?
From our understanding, the answer was no.
Okay.
No, and it's not something that you would write into a student's IEP.
Okay.
Since it is an optional program for
Okay.
students. But when a student with an IEP does participate, if they do have supports, then we are more than happy to provide those supports during extracurriculars.
Okay, great, thank you.
Any other board members have questions?
I just wanted to make a comment. Back in, I don't know, I think it was still COVID and we were all shut down. I was a part of that strategic planning committee before I had even thought about ever being on the board. But it's just so rewarding to see how you continue to push forward on those things that we all agreed to on our computers with masks on. So thank you for continuing the work, and this is a great program.
All right. Any other comments? Thank you very much to you both for the presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And you will see that item on our agenda in a little while. Okay, moving on to our agenda items. Item A, financial statements. That the Board of School Directors approve the financial statements and bills payable list as presented. Any questions or comments from committee members? Any questions or comments from board members? Seeing none, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. This will move to the board meeting later. Item B, Willis Tower Watson Northeast Insurance Policy Renewal. That the Board of School Directors approve the annual insurance policy renewal agreement with broker Willis Tower Watson Northeast for insurance coverages provided to the Coatesville Area School District for the upcoming school year in the amount of $617,105 as presented. And I'll note that the public agenda gives a detail of all of the different types of insurance, as well as the cost and the cost of the expiring premiums. So thank you very much to our finance director for anticipating that I was going to want all of that and just putting it on the public record. Any questions or comments from committee members? Any questions or comments from board members? Seeing none, this will move to the full board agenda if all committee members say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Moving to item C, Highmark Stop Loss Insurance renewal, that the Board of School Directors approve the renewal of stop loss insurance through Highmark Insurance Group, a division of Highmark Blue Cross. The 2024-25 rate of $454,053 represents an increase of 7% above the previous rate of $424,355. As a side note, Coatesville is self-insured. The stop-loss policy provides reimbursement for annual claims of any individual that exceeds our $410,000 deductible as presented. Any questions or comments about this? I will note that anybody with interest in how our medical claims look, there is an informational item B for the full year that gives insight on that, and it doesn't look like we actually needed to invoke the stop loss this year, but in some years we have. Any questions from other board members? Yep. Seeing none, all in favor of moving this to the full board agenda, say yes.
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 Okay. Moving on to item D, the Student Activities Manual, that the Board of School Directors approve the Student Activities Manual as presented. Section 511 of the Public School Code indicates each school should have a policy for student activity funds, and that's why this falls to the Finance Committee agenda. Any questions or comments on this item? Any comments or questions from the full board? Okay. Seeing none, all in favor of moving this to the full board agenda, please say yes.
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 Okay. MVP Productions Opening Day Staff Event. That the Board of School Directors approve the invoice from MVP Productions in the amount of $1,925 to provide services for the opening day faculty and staff event scheduled for August 19th, 2024, as presented. This is the game show event that we're doing on opening day, so it sounds like it's going to be really fun. Any questions or comments on this item? Any comments from the full board? Okay. Seeing none, all in favor of moving this to tonight's agenda, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Item F, Wiggins Shredding, Inc. That the Board of School Directors approve the quote from Wiggins Shredding to provide shredding services for the administration building at an estimated cost of $1,700 as presented. There's a note here that last month's shredding event had a larger than expected amount, and so we have an additional shredding event needed. Any questions or comments from committee members? Any questions or comments from the full board? Seeing none. All in favor of sending this to the full board meeting at the end of the month, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Item G, Shutterfly Life Touch School Studios, East Fallowfield Commission check. This is a commission, the Board of School Directors approve a commission check from Shutterfly Life Touch School Studios for a total of $85.12 to East Fallowfield Elementary School for the Spring Individuals 2023-2024 program as presented. Looks like maybe this one just came late. So any questions or comments from committee members? Any questions or comments from the full board? Okay. Seeing none, all in favor of moving this to the full board agenda, please say yes.
Yes.
Moving on to item H, Citadel Credit Union Kings Highway Elementary donation, that the Board of School Directors approve the donation from Citadel Credit Union in the amount of $5,000 to be used at Kings Highway Elementary School, awarded to kindergarten teacher Ms. Elizabeth Pandosh as a result of winning the Citadel Heart of Learning Award as presented. Always a great honor for our wonderful teachers. Any questions or comments from committee members? Any questions or comments from the full board? All in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, this will move to the full board agenda. Item A, Coatesville Sports Virtual Hall of Fame donation, that the Board of School Directors approve the donation from Coatesville Sports Hall of Fame to purchase and install a virtual display station in the intermediate high school gym lobby as presented. So there's an intent to give form and a Wall of Fame presentation. I did have a question about this. The intent to give has an estimated dollar amount. Is the intention of the Sports Hall of Fame group to cover the full cost of the installation?
It is.
Okay. And so they're going to work with the district to figure out which of the proposals makes the most sense for the space and cover that cost?
Exactly. It's a good thing, we're running out of wall space. And so this would enable people to be in the lobby, especially during basketball events, to be able to see that in a continuous loop.
Yeah, it seems like a really cool installation, and one that allows a much wider range of athletes to be showcased. So it's a great idea. Thank you very much to the Coatesville High School Sports Hall of Fame for making this proposal and donation. Any questions from other committee members? Any questions or comments from the full board? Okay, seeing none. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. This will move to the full board agenda. Item J, Courtney Allen Bridgie donation, that the Board of School Directors approve the donation from Courtney Allen in the amount of $230 for the Bridgie Student Activity Group as presented. It didn't look like there was any specifications or restrictions, so this would just go into the student fund for that particular club? Okay. I have no other questions. Any other questions from committee members? Any other questions or comments from full board? Okay, seeing none. All in favor of item J, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, this will move to the full board agenda. Moving on to item K, Kids in Need Foundation donation, that the Board of School Directors approve the donation from the Kids in Need Foundation consisting of $1,000 worth of classroom supplies for Reeseville Elementary School, which looks like it's being divided amongst 4 teachers, as presented. Any questions or comments from committee members on this? Any questions or comments from the full board? Director Seagreaves, did you have a question? You turned on your mic.
Oh, nope.
Okay. All right. Seeing none, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. This will move to the full board meeting this evening. And we come to item L, the Unified Sports Track and Field Team adoption that we just had the presentation on at the outset of this meeting. That the Board of School Directors adopt the Special Olympics Unified Sports Interscholastic Track and Field Team and Inclusive School Leadership Club, sponsored by the Special Olympics, without going through the typical 2-year pilot trial period. Any questions or comments on this item from committee members? Thank you. From the full board? Okay. Seeing none, all in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. And this will move to tonight's agenda. And we move on to item M, resolution petition for school police officer Keith Elliott. That the Board of School Directors approves the resolution as presented and authorize Lamb McErlane, PC, to initiate and prosecute a petition in the name of the school district seeking the appointment by the Court of Common Pleas of Chester County of Mr. Keith Elliott as a school police officer for the school district, et cetera, as further detailed in the agenda. I note that this resolution and petition is required every time we hire a new school district police officer. So although this may be a lot of language, it is very standard procedure. Any questions or comments from committee members?
I just want to acknowledge that Keith Elliott is here this evening.
Is he? Hello, Mr. Elliott. Good, how are you?
We thank you for being here.
Thank you for being here. And thank you for wanting to join our Coatesville community. Any questions or comments from other board members? Okay. Seeing none, all in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
And Mr. Elliott's petition will be moving to tonight's board meeting for final approval. That concludes our agenda for this evening. We do have our standard informational items, which include our account code legal fees, medical claims, and ESSER 3 funding. I'll note that because of the timing of this meeting, those 3 items actually cover the entire school year. So if somebody was interested in looking at what those expenses were for the full school year, this is a very good meeting to take those from. I have no old business. I have no new business. Public comment. I see Ms. Lori Shannon Bailey.
Good evening. I saw an acronym, RTK.
Right to know.
Okay. Maybe the public is not aware of that. I'm wondering if, moving forward, we could write out acronyms, just so we know. Maybe not assume that people know what that is. I did send you an email. I am looking forward to my responses. I'm not going to repeat them here. Wondering about how we're doing with charter school enrollments. I see some big bills here on the bills to be paid. Wondering if we could get some information in terms of our tax dollars on how we're doing, whether or not we're doing good or we need to improve on the work to return children to the district. I know at one point this year we were making some pretty good progress in terms of the work to bring children back, and we saw a reduction in our funding in terms of a reduction in tuition, charter school tuition. So it would be nice to get an update on how we're doing in that regard. I don't understand, and I know I've asked about this before, but claims, judgments, and other, I'm not sure why that's not showing up on the legal, the list of the legal bills. I did see that information. I did see the legal fees, but I don't know why it's separate. So maybe my brain is just not really connecting to that, but I know that the claims, I know that's like a legal entity, so at some point, maybe it would help to explain that to me again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Shannon Bailey. I do not see any other public comment. The next meeting of the Finance Committee is Tuesday, September 10th, 2024. And with that, I adjourn the Finance Committee meeting at 7:50 p.m.
Okay, good evening, everybody. I'd like to call to order the Policy Committee meeting at 7:51. I would like to note the presence of Liren Yako and myself. I was wondering if there is a volunteer who could stand in, since I'm missing my
I
other
will.
two committee members. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Seagraves. First thing on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. The recommended action is to approve the minutes from June 11th, 2024. Is there any additions or modifications that need to be made to the minutes? Okay. All right, seeing none. We have no presentations this evening, so I will move on to item 4, which is the agenda items. First up, letter A, policy 801, public records, first reading. It looks as if there is some modifications that have taken place to this policy. Down in green, Dr. Van Voorn, did you want to explain that?
This is a revision of the existing policy to add language that has to do with Section 702, which is a right-to-know law.
Okay. Okay. And that was the only modification, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Do any committee members have any questions or comments? Do any other board members have questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor of moving it forward for the next reading, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Or yes?
Yes. sir.
Sorry.
Aye and yes.
Aye and yes. All right, so we will move that on for the next reading phase. Item B, it says repeal AR 701-5, naming facilities, first reading. I think this is the action required form for the naming of facilities. Is that correct?
It is, but the reason that this is being repealed is because it is in existence and it is duplicative in another AR. So we wanted to get rid of one, and in order to do that, the board has to repeal the existing one.
Gotcha, okay. All right, does anybody on the committee have any questions or comments? Any members from the full board? Okay, so therefore, all those in favor of repealing this AR on the committee, please say yes.
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 Yes, okay, and that has been done. Moving on to number 5, the informational item there is the AR 217 AR regarding graduation and commencement. For those who would like to read it, there is no old business, there is no new business. Is there public comment? No. Okay, thank you very much. All right, then our next meeting will take place on Tuesday, September 10th, 2024. Before I move to adjourn, may I request a brief break before we move into the special board meeting? Okay. All right, so now I will adjourn the policy committee meeting at 7:55.
All right. So you want to give us like 5 minutes? What? Yeah. I don't need to say it, do I? I call to order the Coatesville Area School Board Special Meeting scheduled for August 13th, 2024. Reading of the school mission statement. The mission of the Coatesville Area School District, rich in diversity and committed to excellence, is to create innovative educational experiences which are funded by the taxpayers, supported by the community, delivered by dedicated teachers and administrators to ensure all students will become responsible, contributing global citizens. Advisement. By notice of the President, board members are advised that all votes shall be regarded as roll call votes. The minutes should also note that public notice was given for this meeting in accordance with Act 93 of 1998, Section 1. School board meeting shall proceed in accordance with school board policy. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Lear Nyako.
Here.
Steve Wilson.
Here.
Holly Charest.
Here.
Shauna Maxwell.
Oh, she's excused.
Liz Muirhead.
Here.
Donna Rowland.
She's also excused.
Robin Seagreaves.
Here.
Elgin Bailey.
Here. I don't think I need the mic. I'm just
Right. At this moment, I'd like to ask everyone to stand for a moment of silence and then salute to the flag. To my colleagues, are there any additions, deletions, or modifications to this evening's agenda? Seeing none, we'll move on to public comment. The board has requested all persons making comment on agenda items to list their name, address, telephone number, and the motion item on the sheet provided. There is a 3-minute limit per person. The board does not take action to discuss items not appearing on the agenda. The board values public comment and wishes to convey that although board members cannot discuss items that are not on the agenda, they listen carefully and appreciate and value input from the public. First up is Ms. Lori Shannon Bailey. You didn't put an agenda item.
Yes, it is on the facility investments plan update. I apologize.
No, nope, thank you.
Thank you. I had asked about the use of green energy at an earlier board meeting, and I felt like I got ignored by the contractor or one of the representatives, which is fine. I'm used to being ignored. But I'm going to ask you again because I think it's worth something for you all to think about in terms of saving taxpayer dollars. So in reference to the new construction on the new...
Ms. Shannon Bailey?
Yeah.
And we can stop the time so she doesn't lose any. But just so we're clear, the facilities master plan is actually not on this evening's agenda.
Oh, it's not on the, okay.
You can talk about it at the end.
Cool beans, thank you.
Yep.
My apologies. My ADD again.
Thank you, sorry.
We're inclusive.
There's no, yes, we are. All right. All right, approval of the minutes, recommended action, that the Board of School Directors approve the minutes for the July 23rd, 2024 special board meeting subject to any additions, deletions, modifications, or clarifications. Call for a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Any questions, comments, or discussion? Please call for the vote.
Liz Muirhead. Elgin Bailey.
Yes.
Robin Seagreaves.
Yes.
Holly Charest.
Yes.
Steve Wilson.
Yes.
Lear Nyako.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Committee meeting action items considered routine will be enacted under one motion unless removed for separate action upon board requests. The purpose of the consolidated motion is to expedite governing board action on all consent items, which are not held for discussion. Items that have been held for discussion by the governing board will be enacted upon at the time the item is discussed. Tonight, I would like to, the only ones I have to remove is A, F, and G from finance. And then I ask my colleagues if they would like to add anything to their,
Education, G and M,
okay.
CCIU.
Anybody else? All right. With all the items pulled, can we call for a motion? Can I call for a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Any questions, comments, or discussion? Please call for the vote.
Lear Nyako?
Yes.
Steve Wilson?
Yes.
Robin Seagreaves?
Yes.
Elgin Bailey?
Yes.
Liz Muirhead?
Yes.
Holly Charess?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Okay, before we go into anything, we are going to go right back to executive session information.
Thank you, President Yako. The board met in executive session on August 12th to discuss two items. One was a confidential safety and security item, and the second was a confidential student matter. And that concludes the executive session announcement this evening.
Thank you. Sorry, I skipped over that. First up is finance.
Okay. Item A, that the Board of School Directors approve the financial statements, bills, payables list as presented. Do I have a motion?
Motion?
Second?
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, call for the vote.
Holly Charess?
Yes.
Robin Seagreaves?
Yes.
Elgin Bailey?
Yes.
Liz Muirhead?
Yes.
Steve Wilson?
Yes.
Lear Nyako?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Okay. Moving on to item F, Human Resources Report, that the Board of School Directors approve the resignations, appointments, new positions, leaves of absence, transfers, changes of status, and corrections as presented. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second?
Any questions or comments from the board on the Human Resources Report? Since we did not discuss this at committee, I did want to call out, as I know Dr. Van Voren, we had discussed this, there is a higher salary range for one of the new employees on the report, on this one and one on the supplement. So yeah, if you just want to comment on that, I think that might be helpful if questions come up when people are reviewing it.
As you know, staffing is difficult. And within the areas of special education, English as a second language, physics, or business, computer science, it's harder for us to find certified professionals. We were lucky enough that we had some experienced certified professionals within those areas coming on. So we do have a new EL teacher coming in who actually is a resident of Coatesville Area School District and coming back home from another district.
Love that.
And we have a new computer science business teacher coming to campus. So we are excited about their arrivals.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Call for the vote.
Elgin Bailey?
Yes.
Steve Wilson?
Yes.
Liz Muirhead?
Yes.
Holly Charess?
Yes.
Robin Seagreaves?
Yes.
Lear Nyako?
Yes.
Motion approved.
And item G, the Human Resources Addendum, that the Board of School Directors approve the resignations, appointments, new positions, leaves of absence, transfers, changes of status, and corrections as presented. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments on this item? Seeing none, call for the vote.
Steve Wilson?
Yes.
Lear Nyako?
Yes.
Elgin Bailey?
Yes.
Holly Charess?
Yes.
Robin Seagreaves?
Yes.
Liz Muirhead?
Yes.
Motion approved.
That concludes the Finance Committee portion of the agenda.
Which brings me to the two items on the education agenda. Item G, that the Board of School Board Directors approve the Chester County Intermediate Unit to conduct district programming audit of the district's K-12 English learner program. The total amount for the service is not to exceed $55,400. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
And Madam Secretary, can you call for the vote?
Liz Muirhead,
Yes.
Robin Seagreaves,
Yes.
Elgin Bailey,
Abstain.
Leon Yako,
Yes.
Holly Charess,
Yes.
Steve Wilson,
Yes.
motion approved.
And then letter M, that the Board of School Directors approve the Steele's proposal for the CCIU as presented. Any comments or questions? No. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Madam Secretary, call for the vote, please.
Leon Yako,
Yes.
Holly Charess,
Yes.
Steve Wilson,
Yes.
Robin Seagreaves,
Yes.
Liz Muirhead,
Yes.
Elgin Bailey,
Abstain.
motion approved.
That concludes the education items.
All right. This brings us to public comment. The board has requested that all persons making comments of public concern list their name, address, telephone number, and topic on the sheet provided. There is a 3-minute time limit per person and cannot be yielded to other speakers. First up is Robin Miller.
Good evening, everyone. I was here about, I think in June, and I talked about PA clearances, PA criminal backgrounds, along with FBI fingerprints, Identigo, and also I think I covered the base that the Chester County Intermediate Unit is one of the companies that offers like the Identigo, the FBI clearances. I was asking a while ago, I'm thinking back in June it was, that it actually be posted, the list of staff, along with the proof that they have their credentials, their clearances, prior to them actually entering the building. Also, I'm finding from being in years of education that often it is up to the employees to send away for those clearances. I'm asking, and I'll probably talk about it a little bit later on, that the schools also be a part of that. I understand that a lot of times the staff actually brings in their credentials and their FBI clearances and so forth, but that's not the way that it technically should be. The company that is providing the services, like the Coatesville Area School District, should have a copy of those clearances being sent to them also. I know it's of an expense, but oftentimes it is actually the employee that's covering the expense. The schools, and I just feel like the schools are the ones that are accountable for it. There is fraud going on with FBI clearances. There's fraud going on with PA clearances and criminal background checks. It is the responsibility of the school board, as well as the Coatesville Area School District and the other districts, inclusive of the Chester County Intermediate Unit, along with DEVROs and so forth like that, that they in fact have their own copies sent to their companies, along with those that the employees have of their own as well, so that they can be compared. It is the responsibility of Pennsylvania to make sure that we're doing due diligence by making sure that we are not employing those who are having fraudulent criminal checks, FBI clearances, along with like I said, the FBI fingerprints as well, for there is an uprise in it, and whether or not people are aware of it, I needed to draw attention to it, for I'm fearful of that these clearances are not being presented the proper way, and they're not being looked at in the proper way. I know for a fact when I used to work at a company, I'm not even going to say the company's name, for it's been in education, that I would take my clearances to the company, and then a month later, they'd say they don't have my clearances, and I'd be like, what are you talking about? I brought my PA clearances to you. I brought my criminal background to you, and my FBI fingerprints as well. And what are you talking about? You don't have them. It is the responsibility of those that are providing education to make sure that they're up to date and they're kept in a timely fashion, and they're also concealed in a safe place, for they are being stolen. And I need it for people to understand that clearances are being stolen, and they're being sold to other states, and they're being duplicated and changing names on them. And I just wanted people to understand it is the responsibility of the school district to also have those clearances and then compare them. Thank you.
Thank you.
And just briefly, in response to those comments and sentiments shared, the district takes extreme pains and care to make sure that each and every employee who is required to have a clearance in this district is satisfying those obligations and is not aware of any compromise in that process at this time.
But I also asked, is there a list that's actually visible next to the employees' names? That could be, that's allowable for staff and parents to
Ma'am,
look at.
ma'am, we've given you the opportunity to speak.
Okay, but that, I asked that the last time, and I'll keep on making sure that I have the news up here, because I know that there's fraud with clearances. Have a good evening.
Ms. Lori Shannon Bailey.
Can we get an update on any plans for trauma-informed initiatives sometime before the end of the year? And I was approached by a teacher who remembered I made a less than favorable comment about discipline, or maybe I didn't say anything about it. So the teacher, and this was at a board meeting a few months ago, and generally I've supported teachers. I think for the most part I have supported teachers. But the teacher was concerned about discipline, and she felt like overall discipline was a major problem, and she felt like a lot of teachers are leaving or have left because of discipline problems. I don't know. I haven't really talked to any teachers about how they feel about discipline. My involvement here, as you all know, are for marginalized families and their children who have not yet found their voice. So I do support teachers, but in any case, how are we doing on discipline? And do we have a sense that teachers feel empowered in their classroom as we prepare for the upcoming school year? And then finally, how are we doing with hiring the new DEI director? And looking at the job description, I shuddered because I'm thinking, well, my goodness, if I had to do that job, I don't know. But an update on those issues. Thank you.
Thank you. Informational items.
I have an informational item. We would like to welcome Mr. Robert Graham as the new principal of Kings Highway Elementary School. So hello, Mr. Graham. We are so excited that you're here tonight, and we welcome you to the district family.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here.
Yes, welcome. All right. I think that's it. I'm ready for adjournment. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
Second.
This meeting is adjourned.